Thank you for joining us again on Djji Tutorials. Today, we are diving into using a calculator to graph operations with functions. To graph a linear function, you can either plot points and connect them with a line or use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, to plot the y-intercept and then use the slope to find additional points. Additionally, you can use the x and y-intercepts to graph the line. Title: Methods for graphing linear functions on screen text. Methods for graphing linear functions. 1. Plotting points. Choose a few values for the input, or x, variable. Substitute these x values into the linear equation to find the corresponding y values. Plot the points x and y on a coordinate plane. Connect the points with a straight line. 2. Using slope and y-intercept. Identify the y-intercept, the point where the line crosses the y-axis, from the equation. Identify the slope, the steepness of the line, from the equation. Plot the y-intercept on the coordinate plane. Use the slope to find additional points. The slope is the rise over run, meaning the change in y over the change in x. Move up or down, rise and left or right run, based on the slope to find new points. Draw a straight line through the plotted points. 3. Using x and y-intercepts. For the x-intercept, set y equals 0 in the equation and solve for x. This gives you the point where the line crosses the x-axis. For the y-intercept, set x equals 0 in the equation and solve for y. This gives you the point where the line crosses the y-axis. Plot both the x and y-intercepts on the coordinate plane. Draw a straight line through the intercepts. To graph a quadratic function, first determine if the parabola opens upwards or downwards based on the coefficient of the squared term, a. Then, find the axis of symmetry, which is x equals negative b over 2a, the vertex, the y-intercept, and the x-intercepts. Finally, plot these points and connect them with a smooth curve. Title: Detailed steps on screen. Text: Detailed steps. 1. Determine the direction of the parabola. If a, the coefficient of x squared, is positive, the parabola opens upwards. If a is negative, the parabola opens downwards. 2. Find the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is a vertical line that passes through the vertex. The equation of the axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. 3. Find the vertex. The x-coordinate of the vertex is the same as the axis of symmetry. To find the y-coordinate, substitute the x-coordinate of the vertex back into the original quadratic function. 4. Find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point where the parabola crosses the y-axis. It can be found by setting x equals 0 in the function. 5. Find the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts are the points where the parabola crosses the x-axis. Set the quadratic function equal to 0 and solve for x. 6. Plot and connect the points. Plot the vertex, y-intercept, and x-intercepts if they exist. Draw a smooth U-shaped curve or parabola through these points, keeping in mind the direction of the parabola from step 1. To graph operations with functions on a graphing calculator, you'll first need to enter the individual functions into the calculator's y equals sign editor. Then you can perform operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division directly in the y equals sign editor, or on the calculator's main screen using the calculator's variables, such as y1, y2, and so on. Finally, you can graph the resulting function by pressing the graph button. Alright, let's go through the steps in detail. Step 1, enter the functions. Press the y equals sign button to open the y equals sign editor. Enter the first function, for example, y1 equals 2x plus 3 in y1. Enter the second function, for example, y2 equals x squared minus 1 in y2. You can enter as many functions as you need. Step 2, perform operations. For addition, enter the operation y3 equals y1 plus y2. For subtraction, enter the operation y3 equals y1 minus y2. For multiplication, enter the operation y3 equals y1 times y2. For division, enter the operation y3 equals y1 divided by y2. Alternatively, you can enter the operations directly on the calculator's main screen using the vars button, then selecting y-vars and choosing the desired functions like y1, y2, etc. Step 3, graph the result. Press the graph button to display the graph of the resulting function, for example y3. You can adjust the window settings such as xmin, xmax, emean, and emax to get a better view of the graph. Let's say you have two functions, f of x equals 2x plus 3 and g of x equals x squared minus 1. To graph the function h of x equals f of x times g of x, you would first enter f of x as y1 and g of x as y2. Next, enter y3 equals y1 times y2 to define h of x. Finally, press graph to see the graph of h of x. Hope this session is helpful. Please don't forget to share it with your classmates. See you next session.